man, I appreciate you coming on the show. Obviously,
No,
for anyone that is tuning in, and I hope there's a lot of people, fingers crossed. As we said, I've been doing this for a little while now, but producer Benny is on the show, and Prod Benny, you probably see him on Instagram that way, but it's awesome to see Australian talent, especially having huge influence on some fantastic artists. You know, credits with people like Chef G, The Holiday, Strip for Lucky. I always butcher some names, so
no, you're good.
Young Ennis, I think his name
That's
is
like
as well.
young and ace, young and ace.
Young and Ace. There you go.
Yeah.
See, I was always going to butcher it. That's what happens when you
You're
read
good.
names. You got new songs from Plies as well. That you put beats for. Floor J as well. I think I nailed that name, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
giving
Yeah.
myself credit. But yeah, no, it's an absolute pleasure, man. It must be pretty cool to be working with some pretty big artists.
For sure, man. Yeah, no, it's just a blessing, man. Like, you put in the work every single day. You hope to get a placement, and when it happens, it's just great. It's a wonderful feeling, bro. Honestly, like to
How long
put a
ago?
plane, it's a great feeling.
How long ago
Yeah,
did you start?
bro. I probably started when I was like in year seven, so I don't know how old I'd be then, but it was probably a good while ago, maybe like 6 years or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, it was just like I was just bored one day. If you want to know like how I kind of got into it, I was just bored, like out of my mind. I always tell this story like this. Like I had a party in the afternoon, and I was just sitting down in the morning all bored, like, oh, what do I want to do? I can't wait for this party. Like, I'm just too bored. Like, I didn't really play games or do anything. I was always outside playing basketball or whatever, soccer, anything. But then I just came inside and I was like, you know what? I've been listening to this rap music. I think I can, do something like that. Let me try to do that real quick. So I just picked up a laptop, one of my old mom's laptop, and I was like, okay, let me search up Music Maker online. And I just searched that up, and it was pretty much, I can't remember the website right now, like off the top of my head, but it was pretty much literally all you did was drag and drop like loops. So you weren't really making anything, so all you were doing was literally dropping like a melody, dropping already a kick made, like already a pattern already. So it could be like boom, 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 and you're just dropping that down. You're not like, yeah. So that's pretty much all it was. And then luckily enough, I DM'd someone on that website and I just heard his beats. I was like, damn, these are hard. Like this beat does not sound like my beat. So I just hit him up and I was like, yo, how did you make these beats? Like they're really, really cool. And he was like, oh no, you can't make them on this website. You have to go to FL Studios or something. And I was like, oh, what is that? So then I searched that up and then I downloaded that, completely lost the next day. I looked at the platform. I had no clue what I was doing there. But then yeah, it all worked out from there. It just got better and better.
I love the exuberance of being young, because year seven, I think from that's like 13, 12 or 13
Yeah,
in
probably. Yeah, I
Australia.
think so. Yeah.
So like, the idea of like, yeah, I can do that shit. Like just the
Yeah.
just the like belief that you could do it and like, you know, here you are now, you can do it. So I love that like, as a kid, you're always like, the dreams. Cause sometimes I think more as an adult, like, I'm in my late 20s. So like the things that you want to do, like your head gets in your way and like reason and logic and
Yeah,
you feel like
yeah, yeah,
excuses.
yeah. No, you're
Like as
right
a
about that.
kid, like unreal.
No, definitely. That's a great point. You're 100% right. But yeah, I was just listening to music and I listened to all this rap music. I was like, yeah, I can do a better beat than this. I could do something like that. And I just tried and that was it.
Do you
So
remember who
yeah.
you were listening to that were like, I could do a better beat than this?
A great question. Not really who I was listening to, but I listened to a lot of like Lil Skies like when I was like coming up. I'm not sure if you're like familiar with that artist, but like I was listening to him a lot and I kept on listening to like the pattern, like how they were doing stuff. And then I was like, oh, okay, I'll just do this in my, but I know not really good to, like copy like that. But I was literally, when I started, I was like, okay, yeah, he's doing the hi-hats like this and then he stops it in this section. Oh, and then he changes the 808s in another section. Like that's, yeah, kind of what I was picking up every time I listened to the track.
It's
Not so much now,
interesting.
but back in the day.
Well, it's interesting because, like, 7 years ago, that is the era of obviously hi hats and obviously the era of like, the modern trap beat. Whereas, like, when
Yeah.
I started listening to it, I feel like so old when I say, you were in the age of like hi hats and stuff like that, and I'm in the age of boom bap. Even though we're
Yeah.
not like that far away, but like, I was in the early 2000s when I got exposed to
Yeah.
hip hop, so it was like a completely different sound.
Even speaking of boom bap, like I used to sample that so hard. Like I really was into sampling. Like when I just started, because I was looking at all the, Metro Boog and all those people like sampling all these tracks. I was like, damn, I really need to do something like that. But then I just spent hours and hours on YouTube, just all these like jazz samples or these samples. But nowadays, not so much. I should, come back to my roots on that, but yeah, not so much now.
I feel like sampling's so difficult. Like I'm obsessed with. There's a YouTube channel called TrackLib, and it like
Mm.
breaks down
Yeah.
all the samples, and like literally I can watch that shit for hours and just
Yeah,
see
is
how
that
they.
the one that like it literally drops like all of the
Yeah,
samples for like it? So for a song, it will drop like the hi-hats, the kick of that song. Is that the one?
that's
I
the
think
one,
so.
and just shows like how they chopped it up and like the tiniest bits. I don't know how people have the ear, honestly, because it's like there's some where I'm like, I reckon I could do that, where they just like chop it up and then they slow it down. They and sometimes play it backwards. But then there's others where it's like, not only did they chop that shit up, but then they also like reordered it in like
Yeah.
most amazing fashion. And I'm just like, I don't understand. Like that's a level
Nah.
of creativity where I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I think that's you literally nailed it on the head right there by saying like the level of creativity. Because I could easily right now, whatever, jazz sample, done. Take that literally like I don't know if you know anything about these things, like just EQing out, let's say for example, the low end and a little bit of the high end, that's it. And then just putting on drums, ta-da, done. You're not really, like doing anything really. Like you are making the drums, but the melody and the main structure is still there. That's why I'm saying like the level of creativity, even if you like chop it up or do something different, like yeah, that's when you kind of get something original and like really different. Even though it's still, sampling, but yeah.
I'm interested to know your thoughts on sampling already successful songs. Because I'm sure you
Mm.
see it all the time. Is like, you know, there are so many tracks, especially now. It's like they're digging into the 2000s, but they're digging in mega successful
Yeah.
songs. Like, how do you feel about, beat makers, producers doing that kind of stuff?
No, I like it. Like I mess with some of the stuff. I know it's unfair. Like sorry, some people don't like. They always like, oh no, it's not really fair, or you shouldn't do that. I like it personally. I think it's fire, but obviously always give credit where it's due. But yeah, if you want to really go that extra mile and really do your own thing, just take it and just make it completely different, or just try to take certain essence of of that track. So yeah, for example, like yeah, there's so many. There's like Jack Harlow did one, I think. Nicki Minaj, like all these like stuff. They're just taking out like even lines, like they're literally repeating the lines of the track itself. So like of the previous song. So
So
yeah, I just
you're way nicer about that than I am. I
yeah
It is so corny and so hacky to
yeah,
just
fair enough. Man.
steal the
Yeah,
success
yeah,
of others. Like, and
yeah.
my complaint is more that like I don't think they'll ever be able to create a song that's better than this superstar song that I already love.
That makes
And
sense.
so
100%.
like I'm always going to go back to the original. But like you said, if you can do something interesting with it, where it's like I recognize the sample, but it's a completely different song, then I'm going
Mm.
to be like, this shit is cool.
It's
But if
fire,
I
yeah.
feel like it's the same shit, just played out again, I'm going to be like, come on, you can do better. Like, is that how far the creativity is gone? Is we're just stealing old songs? And like sampling is supposed to be like, I want to be impressed. Like, I want to be like, where the fuck did you find that sound?
Yeah.
Like,
No,
that's
for
that's
sure.
what impresses me personally. It just takes a lot of work.
Definitely. No, I 100% get you.
Oh man, it's like, when I think about it, I'm like, I've also thought about making beats, and then I'm like, do I really have the energy?
No, it's really fun, bro. It's really, really fun. It just makes me feel like free. Like I could literally do that every single day. If I was, that's why I literally do like I sit down at home and make beats or go to the studio and like make songs and stuff. Like at home, I'm just sitting down, making beats and then sending it off to my label. If I'm like at whatever studio, I just make the songs with people and go from there. Like literally. But yeah, literally, like that's why the internet is just crazy. Like people now that you gotta get into that, man. Like if you're a producer and you're hungry for it, I'm not talking to the people that aren't hungry. I'm talking to the people that are actually like dying for this. Like I'm that person. I want to get a placement. I want to do this. I'm like hustling hard every single day. Like I'm not even being cocky. I'm just saying that that's what I'm doing. Like I look up to some people. I don't know if you know the group like Internet Money, but
Yeah.
like I've got like some mates in there, like Rio. and he's my boy, bro. Shout out to Rio. But literally, he like makes 100 beats a day. Like he really does that. Like every time he texts me, he's like, "Oh, sorry, bro, I missed your text. Like I'm still in the studio." Like literally, I love that. I love to see that. Like keep going. That just gives me motivation. Every time I hear people like that, I'm like, "Yes, bro, go!" And like that makes me want to. All right, I'm back in the studio. Done. I'm ready. Like that's just. Oh, I love that, man. But I'm telling you, if you want to get a placement, it's really just like a volumes game. Like you really just gotta make as much as you can and just see what happens with it. You know, like that's the sad reality. I can't force it into your face. I can't say, look, you get on this beat right now. Like you can't do that. You have to feel it out. If they like it, they like it. If they don't like, even if you don't like it, sometimes you should still send it out. They might love it, like literally. But yeah, that's pretty much on that side. Like that's what I love.
It reminds me a little bit of like podcasting. Like, you
Yeah.
know, you gotta like everyone's like, you know, when are you going to see success in podcasting? And it's like, I don't know. I have no idea.
But you know what? You probably love it. You probably keep going with it every single day. And it doesn't matter. Like honestly, I don't care. Like I don't care about, let's say, for example, the money or this stuff. Of course, that's nice to have. But I'm not like, oh my God, I'm doing this for the money. I'm doing this because I really love it. Like it is just fun. Like every day waking up, doing something. I've go to a whole school with like 1,000 people. Like maybe one or two people know anything about beat making or know anything about that. Like I feel special, you know, like I don't know if that like makes sense, but literally like it just feels like something different. It's not the average thing you'd hear everyone say, like, oh, what do you do for your hobby? Like, you know, it's not really like that. But yeah, it's pretty fun, man. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, I think that's how it's got to be. You got to start because you like it. I got asked when I was, you know, starting out, like some people were asking me, like, what should I do a podcast on? And I was like, how the fuck should I know? Like, I don't know. You got to find something you like. Like the idea of a podcast, actually, to me, like this is my take on it, is like you can't decide you want to do a podcast and then figure out the topic. You need to have the topic first. Like you need to have something that you love to talk about all the time. And like you found your genre, which was hip hop, and you were like, I love this shit. Now I want to do it all the time. I had the same thing. Now I just want to talk about it all the time. I want to talk to artists and like, yeah, if no one listened to this, it would still be fun for me because I'm talking to hip hop artists about music that I love to listen to. Like it's not a job. It's actually fun. Like it is really good because I get some weird conversations. Like they got cool stories. And I'm sure you've had the same as like, you know, artists are eccentric in their own way. So it's fun to be a part of.
Definitely. No, definitely have had some talks like that. Oh man.
Well, what is it like working with artists in that space? Obviously, I do it differently because it's like a very, like, almost less. It's less emotional because it's less of them in a weird way. Like I think their music is very much a huge part of them. But how do you find working with artists?
Yeah, well, like as I said, literally, it's just all about like building relationships with them, you know, like it's not just like, oh, okay. Well, that's why at first you really need to like the artist and be invested into the artist themselves to then be like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna ride out with them. Oh, they can't pay me for this or they can't do this. All good. I just want to make songs with them. Like that is the point where you need to be like, yeah, okay, great. This is the artist I want to work with. This is what I want to do. And it's just building connections, you know, always talk to them. Hey, bro, do you need a new beat? Or hey, do you need this? Or what are you working on right now? Or even just say, hey, what's up? Like, haven't spoken in a while. Like, just chop it up, just be nice. And that's how you like build solid, really, really good relationships and just, yeah, find things in common that you guys like with about each other and stuff, I guess.
Do you ever get people like going, holy shit, you're Australian? Like, do you ever?
Yeah. Oh my God. Bro, every time. Like I swear to God, I'll be on my Instagram DMs and they'll just be like, all right, like for example, like when Chef J replied to my story, like that's how I got in contact with Chef J. He like I just literally one day posted a beat on my story, went to church, and then looked at my phone as I got out, and it just said, "Oh, Chef J said like flames emoji," and he was like, "Yo, send me this beat, send me his number, send me his email," and I was like, "Bro, come on!" And I was just getting like excited, and then I was like, "Yeah, cool, yeah, I'll send it through." And then we were just talking, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, come pull up in the studio." And then I was like, "Oh, bro, I'm from Australia." He's like, "Oh, no way, bro, no way." I was like, "Damn!" Like it always happens like that, or they just get surprised, like when I tell them that I'm from Australia. But yeah, when they're always like, "Oh, yeah, where are you from?" That's how it always starts. Like if I'm talking to a new artist, they'll just be like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from Australia." And they're like, oh, whoa, that's crazy. I can't believe Australian people are listening to me now. Like, that's what they always say.
Yeah.
Like,
See, it's weird. I have the same thing, except because like I try to reach out a bit more.
bro,
Um,
even with you,
yeah,
when you reached out to me, I was like, all right, here's another American, because I've done like interviews with other American people before, and I was like, oh, it's another one, perfect. I'm happy to do that. And then it's like, oh, I'm from Melbourne. I was like, no way, come on, like stand up, Australia. Like I was getting excited.
well, yeah. I see. I didn't know you were from Sydney either, so I was also like, no shit. Like I was just
Yeah,
like,
crazy.
yeah, what are the odds?
Crazy.
And it's weird for me personally because like when I hit people up, I assume they're just gonna have a listen and like you listen to my voice for like 3 seconds, you know I'm Australian. But like often they don't even ask because I'm just going, where are you from? Let's do it over Zoom. And then sometimes it's like literally just before we start, they
Yeah.
realize I'm Australian. And it's like just a completely different field that like it's, I don't know, I feel like Americans love Aussies.
Yeah, no, I feel that definitely. Yeah. They just love our work ethic, I feel like. I feel we just really work hard in our domain that we have. So, for example, like producing, I'm like a producer, an engineer, like all this stuff. Like, I try to be very like wide with what I'm doing. So, I'm sure for you, you could maybe do like graphic art design or something, or maybe something different, like something like that. Like, not just podcasting. Like, you can even mix and master your own voice with the podcast. Like, not a lot of people can do that. Like, that's the sort of thing that makes us different, I guess, and more hungry for it. Because like for me, like I can do producing, but over there, no, like producing, whatever, mixing and mastering, all this stuff. But over there, there's one guy for producing, one guy for mixing, one guy for mastering. But that's not like here. Like here, we try to do everything, like literally, and that's why we're like so valuable out there, I guess. Like if we have the opportunity to go there.
Well, I think it's weird because we're also like on the outside looking in. So like
Yeah,
it feels like, for me, I'm sure you had the same as like you got to show everybody that like you're worth your place. And because it's not like,
100%.
and that's what it is. It's like, I got to make sure I'm really good. I'm switched on. I don't make mistakes. And like we all
Oh,
make mistakes, but it's like, I just
and it's
know
bad
my
when that
craft.
happens, but
Yeah.
yeah. Like definitely, like I've had some experiences where I needed to learn like how to set out my, even as simple as structuring like the beats that you send. Like make sure it says beat one, the BPM, the whatever, like the chords that are used in it or whatever, yeah, like all that stuff. Like literally, like you have to like list them properly, and even that simple mistake can be like a little bit like make you look like a rookie or make you look like less than you are. So that's why you want to always be prepared. Because every time I even see that, if producers send me loops to like work on and I see that there's no BPM on it or there's no that, I don't even touch it. Like I just leave that away. Like it just shows you're not like ready or not about that, honestly. So that's why like you got to be on top of that.
See, I
But yeah.
never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Like I never would have thought that those are things you have to list. Like I assumed in my dumb brain, because obviously I'm not part of it. I just
Yeah.
assumed you just send the beat and they listen to it and they go for it. I like now that you explain it, it makes so much sense
Yeah,
because
I'll like I
obviously
can
they've
even
got
go
to
into
find the
further
copy.
detail, like literally all it. Sorry to cut you off, bro,
No,
but
go
like
for
even
it.
go to like so like further detail, like how it is. They just say, okay, I need a beat for Young and Ace. He's like probably one of my favorite artists I've worked with. He's just really nice, super like cool guy. And I was like, okay, need some beats for him. I made 10 beats, for example, sent that off the same day. And yeah, obviously I say Young and Ace for like semicolon whatever and put like beat 12 or all this stuff, BPM 140 BPM, done, send it. And yeah, I could send all that through and then he just listens to it and then he's like, okay, I like this one. Then the engineer takes that beat, sees, okay, it says 120, and then they just add it, oh sorry, 140 or whatever I said, and then they put it into their system to make sure it's like stretched the right length. They see everything, then they can like do like what they want. So it's just to make it so much easier for them. Like that's what you want to be doing. Because if you're really leaving it too hard for them, then they won't do it. If I'm looking at a track and I can't hear the, like, let's say, for example, if a producer sends me a melody, I'm like, damn, this melody is a little bit too hard to find like the bass notes. I can't really find the bass notes. Oh, he's given me the MIDI for it. Perfect. I can just import that and then find the bass notes already there. Done. Problem solved. But if there's no thing, there's no MIDI, I'm a bit like, oh, okay, maybe okay, I'll save that one for later, and I never come back to it. Like there's just certain things like that to make. That's how you get the most opportunity. If you make it easier for the artist, like literally give them every single thing they need. Okay, done. Boom, 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 ready to punch in. Because that's like the thing I've noticed between artists, sorry, singers and rappers. Rappers are like, okay, bam, 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 bam. All right, next line, bam, 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 next. Singers can be there for hours, 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 just relaxing, like making sure one line is perfect. And like that's I've had the experience with both different ways. And I've had like bad experiences with like really quick like rapping when I'm just used to like very like slow singing, like one, okay, pause, all right, punch in, next line, pause. Okay, yeah. But the good rappers literally just go like, okay, bang, like blah blah blah, blah done, next, next. And then literally like they keep going, going, going. But yeah, so that went on like a really different path. But yeah, I ramble a lot. Sorry.
No, go for it. Honestly, I always say like I'd much rather you ramble than you say 8 words, because
Yeah.
then it turns into a podcast about me. And to be honest, I have a trouble enough like stopping myself from talking as well. So
Yeah.
go ramble ahead. But it is
Yeah.
interesting that you said that like singers really focus on the words for like an hour. Do you think it's because they have less words in their song? So like every word means more in a way?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. No, I never thought of it like that. But and I don't want to, hate on rappers. Of course, like I love rappers, like I'm literally working with them every day. But it's not that. It's just like super quick. Like that's what I felt. It just felt like it was all on the top of their mind. Like whatever they were thinking, they were just write. But some artists, of course, some rappers like Polo G or people like that, like I've seen them in the studio with the pen, paper, like NLE Chopper, like they're in the pen and paper, they're writing. But yeah, it's just like a lot quicker with like the like really raw rappers. Like they just say whatever's on their head, done, they leave. Like the singers really sit there for, let's say, for example, we have like a 6 hour day, for example. Then for like 4 hours, they would write the song, like for the whole 4 hours, write the song. Then for the last 2 hours, they would record and done. Like I would make the beat in the first 10 seconds of the session, and then they would sing to that for like 5 hours. And then literally the last hour, I'll just record them, then we go home. Like literally, that's how it goes. But for rappers, it's just boom, boom, boom. Like, quickly pull up the beat, pull up the beat. There's no time for like, let's make the beat in the studio. Like for like for the rappers I work with, at least. Not saying this is just my experience, my personal experience. Like I've always had beats ready to go for the session.
What do you do during those 5 hours of like when the singer is like,
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I help them as well sometimes. Like I try to give them, lines to build myself up as a songwriter as well. So that's why I'm trying to do like many like multifaceted. I'm trying to do songwriting, beat making, all this stuff. But yeah, like I just help them write sometimes, fix the beat a little bit, mix and master a little, like the beat already, even have vocal chains ready to go. Like just that, literally. That's all I can do, really.
yeah, because I think it'd drive me crazy to just like watch them agonize for hours.
Yeah,
Because
it really it does sometimes. It just goes the beat plays like the same for hours and hours. Like, yeah, you get sick of your own beat sometimes.
sometimes I hate when someone's like, "Oh, you got a podcast," and then they put it on. I'm like, "Can you not do that? Like, please, just."
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
I don't know. I
I
think you
get
get
it,
used to it, but like
yeah,
for 6 hours, I would be like, "Fucking, let's change this shit."
yeah. Yeah. But for example, it's one song a day for like the art. Well, maybe 2 songs a day. This is my personal experience once again. Like I do like 1, 2 songs a day. Rappers, it could be like 50 songs a day. Like seriously, because they can really just say whatever they're feeling, done. It's the next track already. Like literally like that. Yeah.
Does it surprise you how quickly they can punch out a track?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Look, I have a story. I don't know. He's from Melbourne, actually. I don't know if you know a guy called like Ecosystem or
No.
like, yeah, he's from Melbourne, but yeah, he's a really talented artist as well. And he reached out and he was like, oh, I don't know if he reached out or I reached out, and he said, yo, your beats are fire. Like, I want some beats from you. I was like, damn, like, okay, cool, let's go. And then he's from Australia once again. Like I love the people from Australia. I'm always gonna do stuff for free. I'm not gonna, charge anyone from Australia. I love you guys. But I was like, yeah, all right, send him the beats, all done. He heard him, he was like, bro, these are too hard. I'm coming to Sydney, bro. We're gonna record. And I was like, bro, crazy, let's do it. And then I go, he'll laugh if he sees this. Like we go to the studio session. And as I said, I'm used to singing. So I'm relaxed, I'm chilled back. I'm like, okay, all good. Got the beat here. And they're like, stand up, they're ready to go. They're on the mic already. And I was like, oh, they're like, relax. Like we just got here. And no, they're on the mic already, ready to go, ready to punch in. And that's like, it's like really important things you got to watch out for, because my system was like really slow. Like I couldn't, for example, if I press record, stopped, and then where it had to render the whole audio file, and then you could record again. So that is a no. That is a big no. You got to be prepared and ready to bang, 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 like one after the other. Like press record, done. It's already rendered. It's ready to go. But that's why for singing, it's relaxed. Like you just press record. All right, stop. They have a little chow or something, and then record again. Like it's like that. But yeah, literally.
It must have felt good though to have him fly over to be like, no,
That
let's
was
do this in
crazy.
person.
That was unbelievable. I can't lie. Shout out to him as well. That was crazy. It was crazy though.
Did it feel like, oh shit, this is like real? Like,
Yeah,
it's
nah.
weird. Like, obviously, over the internet, it's like it's still real, but there's an element of detachment. But like when
Definitely.
you're there, like, did it really be like, fuck, this shit is actually happening?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like it's just there's so many experiences that have been like, wow, like I'm actually like I can actually really do this. Like it's possible to do this. Like just through getting all the placements that I've gotten, and like, I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to get all those. Because as I said, it's really difficult to get those opportunities if you're not like you could be, as I say this every single time, you could be the best artist in the whole world, have the best song, release it on Spotify, and then someone like I don't know if you respect this person, but like someone like Lil Pump could release a song, and then that could go viral. But it's trash. I'm sorry, and the song could be horrible. I don't want to name drop, but for example, a really bad song, and it could pop like easily. Like, and even though you put like hours and hours on work, someone who was drunk as hell just made a song and just millions of views already. And someone who really like puts their heart, like blood and sweat and tears into it. That's why it's like, it's always hard to yeah, just see it in that light. But yeah, that's why I just always like still grind and still always put in that work, because even though I have all these placements right now, I still want more, and I'm still hungry for more. I'm still want to work hard and like move on to bigger people. I'm trying to get stuff with Lil Baby, Quavo. Like that's really like seriously in the line that I'm actually trying to work with right now, and that's a possibility. That is a possibility, like for real.
Yeah. Well, man, there's no reason why it's not possible. I mean,
Yeah,
to get to this far shows that the rest is possible. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
feel like the hardest part is like the first period. Like that's where the most self doubt comes in. And then once things start, it's almost like, exponential growth. You just need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins and they stack up. And then all of a sudden,
sure.
like you're getting into the right places. So yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, man, no, I appreciate it. But yeah, that's so I'm saying for all the producers watching this right now, you can do like, and I'm sure you already have placements underneath your belt. Just like keep grinding and keep working like higher and higher every day. If we could literally, like, this is probably the most important thing I'm about to say right here. Instagram is so good. It literally took me from having nothing, like having zero money or no, like literally nothing, no fame, no. I'm not saying I'm famous, but like having all that stuff, it literally like took me from nothing to having this platform where I'm able to send beats out to people I used to listen to. Like that's like the best feeling. Like listening to someone in like that I used to listen to as a little child and then literally working with them now. Like that's the craziest feeling. If you're talking about that, like that is a crazy feeling. Like I don't like, yeah, it's cool that someone flew across to Melbourne to Sydney, but the craziest one for me is literally listening to whatever, like there's this guy called The Holiday that I really like. He's like a low-key artist in America, and he literally is like on my beats now. And that's why I'm like, bro, it's amazing. It's just blessed. Like seriously. But yeah.
I cannot agree more. I interviewed Master Ace, who I
Yeah.
heard, and I was a big fan of Master Ace well before I started the podcast. And like he's worked with some amazing artists, and he's an amazing artist himself. And when I got to interview him, I was like, God damn, like it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Like, and
Sure.
like I saw 50 Cent live, and DJ Chubby Chub opened for 50 Cent. Like he's his tour DJ. And then I got to
Well,
interview DJ Chubby Chub. And I was
yeah.
just like, it like shit is real. It's like this weird kind of like you can feel it, like it's almost touchable in a way.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's yeah, it's incredible. Even though I'm literally miles and miles away from America, like it's amazing to even, be associated or be with that culture, even from Australia. Like I'm putting my own little stamp on it, I guess.
Would you ever move over?
That's the question, bro. That's the question. That's the big question. I mean, I'll have to say, man. Like, I'm literally still in uni now. Like, I'm still doing uni. I'm still doing what's it called? Yeah, all the stuff here. So I would love to move, but honestly, it's looking like probably maybe 1 month just move there and then come back, or I don't know about living there. I'm not gonna lie. Like I love Australia, as I said. Like I'm not, crazy. Like I'm not dying. Like of course I'm dying to go there to like work with the artists. I feel like if I'm in person, it's like on lock. Like no one can touch me. Like in person, I can really just be like, all right, here the fire is beats. Just hop on it right now. Like seriously.
Well, man, I'm planning on moving, so that's one of my things to like jump over there because, like you said, doing this in person, different, like just a
Yeah,
different feeling. I got all the
sure.
shit too. I got all the equipment, so like that's and COVID, all that shit. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, itchy feet. Like I just want to like I need a change. And like as you said, like Australia's awesome, but like why not?
For this, I understand. Yeah, like it's the same thing for producing. Like, well, for me personally, just because I love listening to rap music in America, I will go to America to work with the people. Like, it just makes sense. Like, why would I stay in Australia if I don't want to work with the Australian people? Like, of course, I would want to, but like not like I would want to rather more like work with the American ones more, if
I
that makes
feel
sense,
you.
because that's like
Yeah,
the people I listen to like right now.
I feel you. You don't have to explain to me. I'm not the
Yeah,
biggest fan of Australian hip hop generally,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
only because I'm not used to it. And like they sound like me, and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to listen to
yeah.
myself. Like I want to
Yeah.
listen to others. So that's like, so I definitely get that. How do your
Mhm.
parents feel though? Like when you
Yeah.
first told them like what you were doing,
You're
like
asking the serious questions.
hell yeah, I want to know what's really going on.
Yeah, well, like, what do you mean? Like, when I told them what, like, what I was doing, or
Yeah. So when you were actually like, because I'm sure at the beginning it's like, cool, okay, make your beats. That it's almost not serious. I had the same thing with like my family. They're like, okay, do it, like do what you want. But like when you started getting placements, when you started actually seeing real return on the time and the effort that you put in, what was their reaction like?
yeah, I'm not gonna lie though, like, they don't really know the artist, and that's not their fault. Like, of course, if I told them, like, if I say a massive name like Drake, they're gonna be like, of course, I've heard of him or something. But then, like, the guys I work with are big, but not, of course, at like Drake status yet. But yeah, that's why they don't really know. I tell them sometimes, I'm like, oh yeah, mom, like we just hit 1 million in 2 days. And she's like, oh okay, that's good. Like, she doesn't really know like what's going on. That's fine. That's yeah, that's just yeah, it is what it is, but it's a bit heartbreaking sometimes, but it's all right. Like I know myself, like what I'm doing, and all my mates like support me, and they get excited. They're always like, yeah, like that's crazy, like good stuff. Like I always love the messages back when they like send it, because like it just shows like they're taking time out of their day to literally say like good stuff, like keep going on what you're doing, and it means a lot. Like of course, but yeah, they do know what I'm doing a little bit, like especially with Pliers. Like he's a great artist, and he was big like back in the day. I think like even like 9 years ago, 6 years ago, like he was like releasing hits with like Neo, and like we just got a song now. It's almost at 1 million, I think, in like 4 days or 5 days or something like that. So like, and I told my dad about it. I think he has like a rough idea on who that is, but not like as I said, nothing crazy yet. But yeah.
Have you floated the idea of moving with them?
You already know I have. Come on, man. Of course I have. And they were just like, nah, like I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if you should. And it's understandable. As I said, like I'm not saying it's a dangerous place, but I think Australia is 10 times more safer than America for me personally. But like, yeah, they're not down with the idea of, just going there for a little bit. They're fine with that. They're like, yeah, all good. But yeah, staying there is a little bit of a different scenario, I guess. But yeah, but that like might be a possibility. Like literally, like the one thing that's always a little bit iffy or whatever is really if like I'm gonna make it, if that makes sense. Like I really want to go there to just do the music by itself. Like just go there and do the music and live off that. I'm not trying to work on another job or do something. Like I would just love to do the music there. Like wholeheartedly just the music. But that's something that I also know why I will make it, because usually sometimes I'm like, for example, I don't know, as a kid, for me, I was always like, oh, I want to be a professional basketball player. And everyone was like, oh, yeah, like, okay, yeah. Like, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be, in the NBA. I want to be in the NBA. Like, but of course, I'm not going to be in the NBA. Like, for like, thinking I always had doubt, like, oh, maybe I won't, maybe I can't make it to the NBA, or maybe I can't be a professional soccer player. But like for music, I've had no doubts, zero doubts at all. I haven't thought, oh no, I can't be a music producer, oh, I won't make it. Because if you really think about it, I've technically not made it, but I've really done what I would like to do. Like I have produced songs, I've made a beat, I've given them to artists. Like that's really all I've ever wanted to do. Doesn't matter how big or small they are. I've completed that task. Like in reality, I've literally made it in, I guess, like of the most simplest terms. Like of course I'd want to work with Drake and those big people, but for now, like I've literally made it. Like I'm just happy with what I've done so far. Like looking back, I just feel like you needed to stop, relax, look back, see what you've done, and just appreciate. Like, wow, I've actually worked with this person. I've actually talked to this person before, or I've actually done this. That's incredible. Like, come on, like that's crazy. You got to pat yourself on the back for that. Like, that's what I think to myself as well. Worst case comes to worst. I don't make it in the music. I end up doing a 9 to 5 job, whatever. How crazy was my life as like a teenager? Like it was crazy. Like I was really doing some pretty cool things. Like you tell your kids about that, like stuff like that. Like it's just crazy.
I agree. But
Yeah.
okay, if you do work with Drake and you don't hook me up with an interview, I'm going to be very disappointed.
No, I got you. I got you, bro.
I'm getting in on the ground floor. That's my plan. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree that like, it's weird that you look at how much more is left to achieve and you forget at how much you've already achieved. I have that problem a lot of like, all right, I've done over 100 episodes, but I still
Like that's incredible. Congratulations on that as well. Like over 100 episodes, and like yeah, you definitely got to sit back and look at what you've done. Like I'm sure you've had some amazing interviews.
Yeah, I've had some amazing ones and I had some shit ones. And weirdly enough, the shit ones are also the great ones because like they really test you. They like really push you to your limit. I've had people literally in a moving car, and so it cuts in and out as I'm trying to talk to them. I've had people do their nails like in a nail salon, like literally screaming kids in the back. I've had it all. Like I've literally had it all.
I'm not gonna lie, this was gonna be a car one, bro. But luckily I got back home quick enough. Oh,
yeah, it's all right. It happens like that. I get it. That's kind of, I always knew like when I'm going to be interviewing like artists, I'm not going to be interviewing, like Wall Street professionals who like have, they're a set, like it's just what I accepted coming in.
Yeah,
so, but yeah, no, man, you got a good setup. You got the mic, you got everything. You got the,
This is literally the mic I record on, like sometimes when I'm at home. Like if I have an artist, they want to come in. It's like I think it's like what is it? It's like, the AT 2020 mic. It's literally like $100. And I've heard some crazy songs recorded with this. Like it's such a simple mic and it just does the job. Like literally just for home. But when I'm in the studio, of course, we use whatever the $10,000 microphones and all that. But in reality, like if you just want to get started, this is like just really good. Just simple mic.
Yeah. My first mic was, $120.
Yeah. Wow. Literally.
I had my computer camera. It wasn't like, it didn't look good. I had a big beard. It was grainy as a motherfucker. I don't know. I reckon people looked at me and went like, what the fuck is this? Like now it obviously looks a lot better. But like,
it does. I'm sorry for my camera. I'm just gonna say that right now. Like I did not have a good camera. Like I'm just a sound guy, bro. I don't use cameras or anything, but
honestly, you look fine. Like trust me when I say I'd tell you if you look like shit. But I've had people literally in the dark having lights on their face. I had a guy wearing sunglasses the whole time. Like, they're just eccentric and they do their thing. But yeah, I think it's all about one step at a time, one step in the right direction. And like, you got to get a start and then you just slowly level up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I 100% agree.
How do you find the balance though between like, this is your dream, this is your passion, but then also like the real world?
Okay, you're asking some really good questions now, man. Like that's a great question. And yeah, it's hard. Like, for example, let's just hone in a little bit more. School and producing, it was really hard to, do that. For example, like I was pretty much, let's say, for example, in year 7 to 10, it wasn't that hard. I wasn't doing anything major. I was literally just pretty much doing beats every single day when I came back home, and then just doing homework if I had any. That was it. It wasn't anything crazy. But of course, when year 11, year 12 comes, like you got HSC, like you got to do all that stuff. Like I had to, focus up a little bit more. But literally, it was hard finding the balance. And I'm not gonna like everyone says, of course, there's a balance. Like you have to find it. I'm not gonna lie, like I struggled finding a balance. Of course, I can say, okay, 1 hour I'll do beats. Like now, for example, I'm at uni. I just say, all right, I'm gonna do my uni work now. Then I'll do 1 hour beats. Uni 1 hour beats. Does that really work? Sometimes I just do beats the whole time. Like in reality, it's hard. Like I'm being honest. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like that's what happens sometimes. But I try to stay focused and just do what I have to do as well. But it's just because it's so much volume now. Like back in the day, I was doing beats for fun. Like I'm still doing beats for fun now, but it's for a purpose now. It's for Little Baby. It's for this. Like before, I was just sad type beat or whatever, dark type beat. Now it's for someone. It's for Young and Ace. It's for Lil Baby. It's for Drake. It's for these people. Like, so yeah, that's why I have to be a little bit more, focused in what I'm doing. Like I need to get the best out of that artist. Like as I'm saying, like think about, okay, what are they doing now? Also, like I don't really agree sometimes when people are like, oh, listen to their old music and then just make something like that. Yes, that does make sense. But I'm trying to do something different, like just a little bit different. So they're like, oh, okay, this is not something I've done before. Or this is okay, let me try this. Like sometimes it works, sometimes it's just a miss. Like I've done it before and then they've sent the pack and they're like, I'm not gonna lie, bro, this pack was ass. Like this is not what I do at all. And I'm like, okay, sorry, man. I'll redo it. Like, and that's happened sometimes. But then sometimes it's like, bro, this is fire, and it's something they would never ever do at all. Or you'd hear them get on it, and you're like, damn, I never even knew you could get on a style like this. But yeah, it's just I feel like everyone's versatile, but they do have their little. I like Detroit type beats. I like boom bap type beats. I like this. Like there are some people like that. But yeah, I just try to be different to just get something new out of the artist. Like for example, NBA YoungBoy, like my label got something with YoungBoy recently, and I was like, damn, like fire. But it's nothing like I would have thought. It was like a little relaxing, like African, like Afro beat type of like record. It wasn't the usual like hard hitting, like big bass that he usually does. And it was on the album. So literally, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's different stuff. Like, but to be fair, my label does tell me, okay, the artist is on a different wave, or no, he wants strictly NBA YoungBoy type beats. But yeah, it's just yeah.
Well, it reminds me, I spoke to Mad Skills and he wrote for Dr. Dre. And he was saying,
I've had an opportunity to send beats to him, but I couldn't make any beats like him, bro. I was finding it hard.
well, because he was writing and, and he said, and I'm probably going to butcher the story, but he told me, and he was like, when I was writing for Dr. Dre, like all these young guys were writing songs like he was back in NWA, like all this gangster shit, all this street shit. And Dre was like, I get it. That's what I used to do, but like I'm in my 40s now. So like that same thing is like, that's cool, but that's not me now. And so what Mad Skills did was he wrote like a more meaningful piece that was like more relevant to the period of time that he's in. So it's like, yeah, you gotta, I think as you said, right, like it's a balance between like understanding their sound previously, then also understanding where they're at in their artist journey. And like the end of the day, you'll never really know which one's right. Sometimes they'll be like, yeah, that works for me, or that doesn't work for me. But it is cool to hear the shit that artists can actually do. Sometimes I feel like artists are really limited by their own creativity. They kind of like don't let themselves explore different style beats. And then when they do, it's like, fuck, this is fire. Like I didn't know you could do it at a slower BPM. I didn't know you could do it at a faster BPM or find these really cool pockets.
100% agree, for sure.
Yeah. You agree too much. No. No, I'm joking. What are you studying, by the way?
I'm just doing a Bachelor of Music at the Conservatorium of Music right now. I don't know if you know that one. It's just at Sydney Uni.
No, I don't. Yeah. I mean, it's weird because you're like talking about uni. I did uni and I did my degrees, and like I started this working full time. I still work full time. And so like, it's weird. Like you do find the balance, but my mindset is like, I work so that I can do this, not the other way around. And it's like, fucking, I want to finish my day so that I can work on this shit. And it's like, I'll podcast before work. Like I'll get up and I'll do a podcast at 7 and then I'll start at like 8:30 and I'll be like, all right, got to get the interview in, wake up early, get your shit going. And like, it's worth it at the end of the day.
100%, 100%. You're getting more content out there, more volume. People are looking at you more, like for sure.
Hello.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, I don't know how you found me, but like, you just saw me through like mutuals or something.
Yeah, well, part of what I do is like, I just go exploring on like IG and on like TikTok. I just go exploring. I'm like, all right, I want to find new guests today. So I
Yeah,
just
fun.
like go and I just go through like people that I've spoken to, who do they follow, who do they follow, who do they follow. And I just like keep looking. Some of them are like commented on artists that I've interviewed, like they commented on a clip. I'm like, let's go into that kind of web
Yeah,
of
that's fun.
hip hop. So that's how I found you. I was just going through a web. And to be honest, I don't even remember what the web was because I've got like thousands of them going all at the same time, just always looking. But when I saw you, I was like, yeah, we gotta
Appreciate it, bro.
reach out.
Nah, for sure. I appreciate it. But yeah, like that's the thing. Like it always comes up in requested. I don't know why. Like all the DMs always come in requested. I have to check them and be like, oh, okay, do I? Because some of them are actually right. Like some of them just spam, but the actual good ones, like your interview or your like other people asking me, oh, hey, you want to work? Like, like it would be a lot better if I could just see them straight away, like in the DM. But yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because it's like you want them in the DM, but then you don't want them in the DM because then everyone would be in your DM and it
Yeah,
would be
literally,
fucking
literally.
irritating. But I
For
tell you
sure.
what, those spam ones are the worst.
They thank God they go to my requests straight away. But when I see them, I just see like 10 other people in there. I was like, oh man, what is going on? Like Instagram is a good and bad place. Like for real. But like that's why for me, Instagram, as I said, it's just done everything for me. It's just build the connections. I would literally have nothing without that. That like just thinking about that right now. Literally, I would have nothing. Like I wouldn't be able to reach out to American people. I wouldn't be able to do any of that. That's just a fact. Like a literal fact. I would not be able to do that. Like back in the day, they used to do like email lists and stuff. I don't really like that. I really just want to get to you straight away. Like if I get to you, you give me your number, we're locked in. It's easy. Like it's easier for me. Like I hate sending out emails like, oh, like can you please hop on my beat? Or here's some beats I made for you. Come on. Like are they really gonna check that? I'm sorry. Like seriously. It's like a yes and no scenario sometimes. Like I don't know. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Like I've heard people, like one of my boys, he's been sending out beats to DDG. I don't know if you're aware of that guy, but he's been sending out beats to him for like, I don't know, like 3 months or I think it was like, no, sorry, 3 years or something like that. And then literally he got something with him. So like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's all about different experiences. For me personally, I've just been like, I want to get to you first, then I'll be sweet. Then I'll be okay. And then that's just
I
how it
agree.
works from there.
I agree with you. I've had the most success on IG as well. And
Yeah.
I think you would be, and the audience would be surprised at how many artists run their own and check their own IG account
Mm-hmm.
because they
100%.
do.
Yeah,
And like,
100%.
and I've had people that I DM that don't respond. And then a year later, I DM again, they don't respond. And
Yeah,
then
it
another
does.
6 months, they finally respond. They're like, yeah, let's jump on. And it is like you can't quit in a way.
Yeah,
Some of them
100%.
look at it and then they don't want anything. And then I follow up and they don't want anything. And then I follow up and they're like, hey, no thanks. And then I'm like, okay, I kind of understand. I'll follow up later. But like, I think that's kind of the game. Like, you just
Yeah.
can't give up
You
on
just like keep
reaching
on
out.
being keep on being in people's faces. Like just keep going. If I see you every single day, like in my DM, or if I just see you on my Instagram, I'll be like, okay, like I have to pay attention now. Who is this guy? Like, what is he doing? Like, just if you're in people's face for a majority amount of time, then they'll be like, okay, like I need to pay attention to him now. Let me listen to what he's got to say. Even if I like it or not, he's in my face. I'm seeing his interviews all over YouTube. I'm seeing them on Spotify. Like, all right, who is this? Let me tune in. Like that's kind of what's going on, I guess.
And like, it may not be Drake today, but it's like someone that Drake knows. Eventually, that's like the way it works.
Okay. So this is another story. All right. So this is one of my like old friends. I'm not sure if he really like messes with me now, but yeah, I can't remember what his name was, but what happened was I just saw his page randomly. Like let's say you saw my page randomly. I just gave him a DM, yo bro, you need some beats, whatever. He sent me a message back, yeah, for sure, like I need beats, whatever. And then we just started working from there, did our thing. We were actually like pretty close. Like we FaceTime me every single day. He was from like England or something. And we were like, yeah, London somewhere. And we were like FaceTime me every day, talking, whatever. I saw on his page he had a picture with like Lil Mosey there. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Like like what, you know him or something? And he's like, oh yeah, we're pretty much, I don't know if they were like cousins or if they were like mate really close, like family friends or something. And I was like, oh, that's fire. And one night, sitting down, watching movie, he's just on the little FaceTime, we're just chatting while I'm watching like this funny movie. Out of nowhere, he's like, oh, Ben, like Benny, turn on the lights. Like, and I was like, okay. And I turn on the lights, pause the movie. Lil Mosey joins the FaceTime call. And I was like, no fucking way, bro. I was like, ain't no way. I got so excited. And obviously he was like, but like before he was like, look, just chill out, relax, like don't go crazy. Like he doesn't like it when, you know, people get excited. So I was like, okay, all good. I was just like, oh hey, like he was my best mate or something. Like just talking to him like a regular person. I was like, hey man, what's going on? But like behind, like my whole lower body was like shaking. I was just, yeah, it was unbelievable. Like I'm sure you know who Lil Mosey is, right? Or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, yeah, I was really, you know, I was pretty scared, really nervous, but he was such a nice guy. Like, oh yeah, do you need my email? Like, do you need this, whatever? I was like, all right, I'd love to have your email, man. Like, yeah, and he's great. Even if nothing like really came out of that, like, it's still amazing to, you know, really like like talk to those people or be in those situations. That's why, like, if you're really close with the person, like I personally, I don't think I knew he was working with Lil Mosey. I just knew he was friends with him, and I was like, oh, you know, that'd be pretty cool, like, you know, to talk to him as well. But I wasn't viewing it as, oh, I'm gonna use him to then get to Lil Mosey, even though some people can do that, and no shame in that. But for me, I didn't really understand how close he was to Mosey until literally FaceTimed him. He like reposted us on his story sometimes. Like, it's crazy. It was crazy.
I actually disagree though that you shouldn't have the goal of like, oh, this person's going to lead to that person. Because
Yeah,
like the person you're actually working with can tell that they're like a stepping stone. And
exactly.
part of that story is like you are authentically working with that person. Like you are,
Yeah, like literally, like I did like 3 songs with him, all these songs. I think it's like 3 songs. And then after that, he just introduced me to Mosey. But like, I wasn't like, hey, bro, like, can we meet Mosey today? Can we, can I, you know, talk to Drake today? It wasn't like that. Like, it's never like that. Even people just say straight up with me. I don't know if you're familiar with this artist called Nardo Wick, but oh, I love him so much. He's fire. But even people tell me like, oh, I can get you with Nardowick, I can get you with this. Like they're just straight up blunt. Like I can get you to them. Like I know, like you know, you can just talk to people and they can help you out. Like you know, he wasn't looking anything in return. Like literally, that was it. Like he just said straight up, like I can send your beats to these people. Like they didn't want anything. Like it's really like that. But yeah, so I get you the for sure.
it like, I think you got to treat it like a family. Like,
Mm.
you know, you got to build trust with the people around you because they're not going to introduce you unless they actually feel the work that you do and also the authenticity.
For
Like,
sure. 100% agree.
and then as soon as they feel like you're full of shit, they're going to be like, okay, number one, let's stop working. And number two, that's it. Like, I'm not
For
going to
sure.
pass you
Yeah,
on.
that's why I just try to be real with everyone, try to be nice, friendly. Like, of course, if I see someone that really has done some crazy things, I'm like, damn, I'd love to work with this person. Let me work with this producer to do that. Like I do that sometimes as well. And I'm not like afraid to admit that. Like if I'm talking to like if I see a song from Ghana and I'm like, damn, this beat was so hard. I love this beat. I want to work with this producer. I go in the credits of Spotify, hit up the producers, we work. And then maybe we get something out of that. Maybe we don't. I just want to work with them. Like literally. That's what happens sometimes. And that's how I literally got signed to my label. Like I just heard The Holiday, like that artist I was telling you about. I was like, damn, I need to get a song with him. I love that artist. He's fire. So I hit up the producers and then they were like, yeah, I guess we can work. Or like, oh, yeah, I charge. Like some people in the label were like, oh, I charge this much. Some people were like, oh, you just send loops through. And then every single time they went live, I sent them loops. I was on their lives every time. Like I was just hustling, like literally. And then they wanted to sign me. I got signed by them, and that was it. Like that was just history after that. And then I literally got a song with that artist, so it like came full circle, like literally. Yeah.
How was it signing your deal? Like, what was
Right.
that process like?
It was crazy. It was really crazy. Like they gave me the contract like pretty much maybe like 3 months, sorry, into like working, and they're like, nah, bro, we need to like lock this guy down. He's like so fire. Cause like I've had like a couple like offers as well. I don't really want to say that because I feel like bad just
No,
dropping them.
go
But
say it. It's important. I think I honestly have said this before, but it's important that we talk about it because for anyone in the industry, we don't talk about contracts, we don't talk about deals, we don't talk about the shit that goes on and then that's how some people get fucked on deals. So like
Mm.
knowing the things that you went through always help.
Okay, I'll tell you what I went through. I ain't gonna name drop, but there's some people that, yeah, some labels have, like said stuff or just being like a little bit shady or being weird. That's why like I kind of just deaded that and not said anything about them and just went to like the label that I'm with now, because they treat me well, they respect me, they help me out with whatever I need. They just get me the opportunities. Like that's why that's like my pretty much my whole story is I grinded myself. I had to go, okay, like up, 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 up. And then to a certain point, I could just say, okay, like the label kind of like piggybacks me, carries me all the way to whatever, the Drake, those people. Because that's hard to get a connection with. That is very hard. But like Lil Baby, I think is a very hard connection to do on your own. So that's why with this label, they can help me get to those people like that. Like they work in the quality control like label, like that QC. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that label, but they work with like everyone inside of QC, and they've got like Lil Baby, like the Migos, Offset, like all those people. Like it's crazy.
So you kind of touched on the other labels, but you didn't. You don't have to
Yeah.
name drop, but like, what was the shady shit that they were doing?
I don't know, man. They were just I don't know, just doing weird stuff. Like, they said, "Oh yeah, we want you," but then, they were talking to other people or shopping me around, like just doing just different stuff, I guess. Like I don't know, I don't really want to go into depth, but that's pretty much what they were doing.
It's always funny, like, you know, this is what happens when I don't plan is like you just got to deal with this. If I find it interesting, I'm going to ask about it. But it
No, I
is
get you, I get
definitely
you.
it is definitely interesting. Like, realizing that on labels, it's not as simple as like I like you, I'm going to sign you.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like
no.
because it's obviously a business for them. And so, like,
Yeah,
they have a roster that they want to build or whatever
yeah.
other motives. And, like,
For
it must
sure.
have been.
Yeah, and that's understandable. I understand. It's a business at the end of the day. Like, go get your money, like, go get everything. That's why when I talk to my labels, well, I'm not pressed. That's what I'm saying. I don't care about the money. I literally love getting the placements. If I get a song with whatever, Young and Ace, Drake, I don't care about the money. Of course, that would be great to receive that, but I do receive the money, but like I don't care about it. Like if it doesn't come instantly into my account, I don't care. I love just hearing the songs on my beat. Like it's like I wrote like a tweet. I was like, oh, bro, it's an unreal feeling, like listening to your own beats on a song. Like with the Ply song that just came out, he wrote on Instagram. Oh, sorry, on Instagram. Oh, I can't wait to play this live. He's gonna play it live to like 100,000 people. Like that's incredible. Like they're really listening to my beat in real time. It's like it's a crazy feeling, bro.
And also, it's a foot in the door. Like,
Sure.
there's a point where, like, you become good enough and you have enough of a name to be able to not need a label and where people are actually seeking you out for the work that you've done. So like
No,
you're using the label as much as they're using you. Like obviously they're getting
yeah.
a product and you're also, getting paid. And then also in addition, like, you're building your career and that's what you should be doing is like, utilizing the opportunity. I just think some people
But
don't
I
see
love
that.
it though. I really like being in a label. Like it makes me feel comfortable, to be completely honest. It makes me feel comfortable. It makes me feel like, okay. And you know what? Even if it doesn't work, like they tell me all the time, send beats for blah, 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 blah. Even if that doesn't work, I've made beats for blah, 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 blah. Like that is literally building my catalog of so many beats. I probably have made over like thousands and thousands of beats, like just from that. And it's helped so much. Because for example, come back home. Okay, I'm gonna make, one beat. I go to bed, bro. Like I have to make literally like 5 beats for like 5 artists every single day. Like for example, like let's say that's the brief for today. Like you have to make a beat for Jack Harlow, blah 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 blah, and then I have to make those beats, send it off by the next morning. Like that's what like literally happens sometimes. So that's why I don't ever get like, what's it called? Like sad or, oh, I didn't get a song with this person. Oh, I didn't work with this person. Oh, I didn't, because I have the beats. Like I've literally made so many beats that those beats could have worked for other people. Like that Plies beat I made ages ago and it just came out today. Like literally, like it happened. Like the most recent one I got, I can't remember her name, but she's a dope artist. She hopped on my beat. That was made literally when I got signed, probably like around there, and then it just got used. Like that's what some people say. Like, oh, I made a melody for so and so 3 years ago. Like it's crazy. It can be like reused.
It's like rappers, they make songs for years and years ago. They just never had a project that it was ready for. And then all of a
Literally,
sudden they have a project and like it fits. So like, yeah. I think it's
100%.
weird when people are like, I got a new project. I'm going to make everything brand new. And I like, they use verses and they've written this verse. And like, people obviously tell me as well that like, I had this verse from like 4 years ago that I wanted to use in this song, but then this and this happened. And so like, I had that verse and I was just waiting for the right song. And now I used it. And it's been like 4 years and they've been sitting on it. Me personally, like I couldn't wait that long because I'm impatient and I'm like, I gotta like put this shit out. But it's impressive to the commitment to be like, I'm gonna wait for the vision before I put it out.
Yeah. No, I agree. I like what you're saying.
How long have you been at your label now?
Probably like 4 years, maybe. Yeah, 3 years, probably for sure.
Okay, damn. So you were signed very young.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah. That's another shady thing, bro. I probably wasn't allowed to sign that contract, but yeah, I was pretty young, man. Of course, I've like re-signed, so like I was old enough to do it. Like I was 18, I was like actually allowed to sign it.
Yeah. Obviously,
Yeah.
you showed your parents and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
they were like, oh, yeah, all right. But I'm so, like, when that happened, I really started getting some like great placements and some like where I really wanted to be. And like, yeah, my beats have gotten like way better just from doing that. I believe that. Like, that's why I just believe in, yeah, like if you have the right label and they're nice, like you can do it. Obviously, if you could do it on your own, that'd be great. But man, I really tried to do that on my own. That was hard. It's pretty hard to get with like massive artists. I've got with pretty big artists on my own, but nothing like compared to like 3 million, 4 million, nine, like Plies has 9 million. Like, how am I going to talk to him? You know, like it's pretty difficult. It's possible, but it's just difficult for me. Sometimes, yeah, it's in certain situations. Like if you DM Chef G right now, he probably wouldn't respond. But it was just, the luck of the draw. I posted it maybe at the right time. He was sitting down, maybe like who knows? Like literally, who knows? And then he just saw it. Like I know some mates randomly, they just message like, random people and they respond, like random famous people and they just respond. Like, you never know. You never know. It's just the right time, right place, right time. I 100% believe that. Like sometimes I'm recording a video on my like in my studio and then I like tag whatever Young and Ace and then I'm thinking, oh, he's not gonna respond. But then he does sometimes. He likes it, he does this, he reposts it, stuff like that. It's just I think it's right place, right time.
I agree. Like, yeah, it's weird. There's no rhyme or reason. I think that's the weird part is like, I'm sure you get asked all the time, like, how do you do it? And it's like, I don't fucking know. I don't know why they responded. I don't know how they responded. They just happened to respond at the right time, right place. Like,
Yeah, I think it's like, yeah, sorry, there you go.
Just to say they could be in a good mood. Like they're in a good mood. They're going through the DMs. They just got a nice message and then they open yours and they're happy. And then the flip side can happen where like they're in a shit mood and they read and they're like, nah, fuck this. Like it's so much luck of the draw of like, you never really know why or how it works.
I definitely think like even accentuating on what you just said, I think it's like profile that matters. Like if I look at your profile and you're, it doesn't really look that good. You only have like, I'm sorry to even be blunt, but like, even if you have like a low followers, that does not look good. Like if I'm being completely honest, like that doesn't really look that good. It doesn't look that pleasing. Or I can be like, oh, damn, I've got 5 million followers and this guy just DM me with like 100 followers, like, and he wants to send me a beat. Like I'm not really feeling okay, like this guy's going to be good, but maybe you are, but maybe you're not. But literally it's just, yeah, I hate to say that, but sometimes that's how they look at it. Like, and and that's why when I send them beats, they look at my page first, like, oh, okay, he's worked with blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, yeah, I'll give him a shot, Maybe my beats are still ass. Maybe they don't like it. And that's it. It just goes on to the next one. But maybe they do like my beats. And then, yeah, that's just goes from there.
Yeah, I think credits is a huge part of it.
For sure.
I don't know why the people agreed to do my first episodes. Like, fucking crazy why they said yes. And I'm always thankful to them because like one had to go first. And like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And they still said yes. And I was just like, this is insane. But like now it's less risky because you've obviously got a catalog of work. Same for you is like, obviously they can hear it, but they know now that you work with artists successfully. Sure. It's not just like you made a beat and you sent it, like you actually collaborate. And that's also a part of it is like you slowly build your way up into a catalog of significant work.
Yeah, man. 100%. 100%.
Well, man, I only have one more question for you.
Yeah.
And I've asked you some tough questions. This is probably the toughest I'm going to ask. It's the only question I plan on the podcast.
All right,
I
here we
feel like
go.
you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But if you had to recommend one album that everybody should listen to at least once to get an appreciation of, what would it be? It doesn't have to be your favorite. I just think this is all about like an album that you think people should appreciate rather than like the goated album of all time.
I'm not gonna lie, like, okay, I wouldn't. Okay, all right. Being honest, you think okay, goated album of all time. I don't think that's right now. Like, I don't think it's like my probably one of my favorite artists, like Lil TJ, Polo G. I don't think that like I love their albums, but for like you have to go and listen to this to like gain a lot of knowledge or gain a lot of things like that.
Like
Man,
here's the thing: I don't want the goated album. What I want is like your album that you think people should all listen to, for whatever
oh,
reason.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'm not looking for the goated because anyone is going to list, all the albums we already know, right?
All right,
So
hold on. Let me make sure I'm getting this name right. I don't want to butcher this. Hold on. Let me see. I'm not gonna lie, it probably has to be like, yeah, it has to be like Polo G, bro. But I think, yeah, but funny enough, the album's called The Goat. But yeah, literally that album is just crazy. I don't know, it just gives like a lot of emotion and a lot of feeling. Like, yeah, I don't know. I really like that. I just personally like it myself. I don't know if you guys like you would want to listen to it, but for me, I really like that. It just shows the struggles, like, I love those like come up stories or feeling energetic. It just makes me want to go. It makes me know that I can do it. So it just gives me that like of like, I can do this, like a little push forward.
yeah,
Okay.
I like Polo G. I think and he's got a good voice too. Like he sounds good on the
Yeah,
mic.
definitely.
And I will
Definitely. He
also
does.
say you're the only one to mention Polo G as
No, like was another one like Kanye West or something.
well, some have mentioned obviously Jay Z, Kanye, 50 Cent. They mentioned the classics. I've had some interesting ones as well. Obviously, people mention like Mac Miller. I had an artist mention a musical once. Like I
I'm
don't
not
know.
gonna lie though, like I still like Michael Jackson. Like I still listen to people like that. Like Michael Jackson, there's this guy, oh, what's his name? Another one. I gotta go to the iPhone and check that. Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah, I've heard
He's
Michael
like
Jackson before as well. They were like, yeah,
yeah,
Michael Jackson.
he's like a famous jazz Dean Martin. I don't know if you heard of that
Yeah,
guy,
Dean
but
Martin. He's like
yeah.
iconic.
Yeah, no, he's fire. I really like. I was just playing bot like 2K on the PS4, and like his song just came on because I was listening to like a jazz playlist once, and I was like, "Damn, I really like this song." And I sent it to my dad because he really like he's into all that. I guess that's probably why like where I get some of my music inspiration from. Like he plays everything. He plays the trumpet, the guitar, bass
Really?
guitar. Yeah, he's crazy. Yeah, he does all that stuff. But yeah, and then I heard the Demon song. I sent it to him. He's like, "Mate, like as if you haven't heard this song before." Like, he was like, "Man, this is a classic. This is an all-time classic." I was like, "Yeah, okay, all right, Dad, all right."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's weird. Like I'm a fan of Frank Sinatra as well. Like, I don't
Mm,
actively listen to it, but I think like the era of like that, I don't know, that the skill set of the voice. That's why I really like vocal samples and like soul
100%.
sampling. Like when you find an amazing soul sample and you put it into a hip hop beat, it's like just feels so good.
100%. I agree for sure.
Well, man, I think we spoke about it all. I appreciate you coming on the show. Obviously, Prod Benny, producer Benny came through. Obviously, make sure you check him out. Check him out on Instagram. Check him out on Spotify. You'll see all the people that he's worked with. You've got a YouTube channel as well that everyone can check out. But man, is there anything you wanted to plug? Anything you wanted to shout out before we wrap up?
It's all good. I just want to say thank you so much to you. Like, thank you for hitting me up for this interview. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I guess just go listen to the Ply song. It's out now. Yeah, let's get it to 1 million, bro.
It's called Loading as well. So if you want to find it, it's really easy. Called Loading, and then you've obviously got a bunch of other tracks as well. Man, I'm excited to see what else you can do.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.